All right, so I didn't really come prepared to film. I didn't realize it was going to take so long to travel on public transportation, but it was very lengthy. I thought at the top 2 hours, and let me put my little thing on so you can see my face. I thought at the top 2 hours, and it did not take 2 hours. It took more like 4 hours because I left at 3 o'clock and I just got, let me see, 3. I stopped to get something to eat because I hadn't eaten all day, but I spent maybe 30 minutes eating. So let's take that 30 minutes from and then start at 3. I got here like 8:10. And it was supposed to be done at 8. But kudos to the ancestors because things be in divine time. And, you know, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful I didn't even realize I would have the opportunity to speak. I was the last public person to speak. And I'm grateful to see that we have solutions. I heard a couple of speakers. I have a long travel, so I'm just getting some juice on my phone now, and I'm going to be uploading this also onto my YouTube channel. And I invited others, but now I see like what's really going on. I got some real full clarity. Just briefly listening to a brother speak about Pan-Africanism, that they're gatekeepers. So even though they're having all these discussions about reparations as well, they are gatekeeping and they are not really providing solutions that's feasible for the people here. You know, he mentioned one particular group wants the people to go back to Africa. But what about the people that were a result of slavery from this land right here? What about us? What about us who was not brought over on slave ships? However, families still became prisoners of war because there was violence that was committed against our tribes. What about us? And they gave us all of these fictitious names and titles to be identified by. What about us? So I'm glad that we are coming to solutions. I look forward to seeing it in action. I know I have work to do, but I'm one woman and I cannot do everything. So I trust that the people who are really willing and able to actually come up with solutions, not just talk about solutions, but actually implement solutions. Because one of the things I suggested is that the commercial buildings and properties pay taxes to the people. And it says anyone who can, you know, that I think that's feasible. They don't go broke because they're only paying a percentage out of their humongous profits. It's commercial, so they're in the business of making profits. So it's fair. It's a win-win situation. However, in regards to RFIP, reparations for indigenous people, I lost my board of directors during the pandemic, and I need new board members. And I'm currently in school seeking my education. So there's a lot that is going on. So I would advocate for $8,000 a month per black American in the state of New York. That the people who want to see solutions and who are working towards solutions, that means you pass down are going to come payout to your ancestors. And that's how long it took for the armless is going to cost that much rejuvenated, because I didn't go in playing. He mentioned funding sources. I didn't go in playing. I went in with the acquisition of a property, a residential property in Brooklyn, New York, where there are families right now to this day that are still residing in that building from the efforts that I put in back in 2014. And it got really, really nasty when it comes to the retaliation that I went through, and that my family experienced. But guess what? We still standing. So I'm grateful to be still standing. I'm grateful to be a part of the conversation of solutions, and I am certainly doing my part in implementing solutions. So with that being said, I'm going to stop speaking so you can hear the speakers that are speaking. I don't even know how long this live is for, but it's going to be enough so that I can upload this, have enough juice on my phone, and take this commute.
Right? Same thing with the lottery. You choose to spend your money. So we don't got to worry about Jorge's issues with where the taxes come from, because it don't come from anybody. one more funding source I'll mention and I'll pass Mike. I mentioned the lottery, I mentioned the marijuana tax, I wanted to mention the lease and sale of any housing over $1 million, a portion of that going into it, which Evanston is trying to set a forefront for, because that actually politically addresses white flight. But my last point is that Clyburn has suggested 1/10 of 1% of the financial transactions as a tax. And I would love to see that happen in New York first, since we have Wall Street here. Thank you.
Reparations. We thank you all for your solutions. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you repeat your name for us, please?
My name is Kiana DeSave. I'm a 21-year-old student, healthcare worker, youth advocate, and author from Queens. I'm here on behalf of the organization Get Free, a youth-led movement to repair past harm, and my own organization, the Healthcare Guardians, which aims to fight for universal healthcare. I'm here today because of the eyesore and stain that racism has left on the hearts of our community. Currently now we are under attack against the Trump administration, and as a result of this, I'm advocating for the enactment of a repair mandate to help New York City be a beacon of light for removing ongoing barriers to equality, restoring dignity, freedom, and rights to all those wrong under racial, gender, and economic inequality, returning wealth and land that has been stolen by the rich corporations and the 1%. I speak for all young people, whether they are here to face you today or whether they are at home, that we want a future where we're able to afford a home, a future where we're able to walk our streets unafraid, to have access to higher education, to live unashamed of who we are and our background. My idea of reparations is not founded upon money or claims to an ancestor. It's founded upon wanting to remove barriers to higher education and to restore racial and gender justice to our communities. Despite some of the opinions of the people here, all of our blood and inequalities run back to one source, and that is the rich and the wealthy. To everyone here, do not let pride, ignorance, and bitterness be your own undoing of the success and oneness of all Black people. Thank you so much for letting me speak.
Just want to remind you that the public hearing section will close in 20 minutes. So if you have not signed up for testimony, please do.
Alright, so before y'all start my time, I just want to show my relic. This is my grandmother who migrated from North Carolina. And all it has left, but the government has never had to tell us who's dead, who's alive. That matters, we do. And I'm glad you guys let him speak, because he was a testament to how the Black and Brown Coalition does not exist. My name is Divine Prince. I'm the president of the U.S. Freedom Project, and even though I'm a Brooklyn boy, this is sort of a homecoming because my parents met right here in Co-op City. My grandmother migrated from Wilmington, North Carolina, and moved into 140 Alcott, lived there, and passed away at 140 Benchley. She was affectionately known throughout Co-op City as Mother Love. Mother Love. All right now, she preached that love, God, and education, and she was a flea market connoisseur. Because of her faith and Christian beliefs, she also taught me to never be afraid to speak truth to power, not forcing our beliefs on anyone else. That's a legacy I hope to hold true to tonight and make her proud. As we know, the definition of African American is anyone with melanin and any ancestry that links back to the continent of Africa, regardless of country of origin. Equally as destructive, ethnocidal, and counterproductive, though, is the term of African descent. That term being applied in modern-day politics is largely a result of having the religion of Pan-Africanism in control of Black American politics. It naturally takes a worldview due to its belief that we're all just displaced Africans. It naturally takes a worldview due to its belief that we're all displaced Africans, regardless of the ethnogenesis that occurred and the culture and identity that evolved after over a century of amalgamation. What this religion also does while preaching unity is disregards the generation of tribalism that is ingrained into the numerous tribes on the continent. Right now, there's a movement growing in Ghana that views Black Americans that are purchasing land through the TBH Diaspora Center to build with their brothers and sisters as colonizers, while calling for violence against them. And you have the South Africans that just found out about the Zulu parade in New Orleans, calling Black Americans dirty cotton pickers, while vowing to leave us behind. See, Pan-Africanism as a theory is a great idea, but it's never been practiced in mass on the continent for which it is named, and continental Africans rarely see camaraderie with those that are not of their tribe. Similarly, here in the USA, many Black Americans don't feel a connection to the continent of Africa at all, and historically have not left the country we built for Pan-African motherland. With this in mind, having reparations forced through the lens and beliefs of these modern-day Pan-African gatekeepers is immoral, unjust, and unconstitutional. An earlier iteration of this bill that we had to get thrown out had 3 Pan-African oaths, all affiliated with Commissioner Ron Daniels, written into the bill, giving them full control of that task force. One of his beliefs is that reparations should be moving to Africa. This is an individual choice that any Black American can make for themselves. Forcing that to be reparations for Black Americans while forcing a changing demographic onto those local tribes in whichever country gets selected has the potential for disaster. The 5 pillars of reparations are compensation, restitution, rehabilitation, guarantee of non-repetition, and satisfaction. Where satisfaction is listening to the harmed party, having them tell you what satisfies our claim.
Thank you, Mr.
The
President.
harmed party are those Black American families who survived slavery, beat the Confederates in the Civil War, and forced this country to recognize our emancipation and the status of freedom. Are you finally going to listen to us, the harmed group, or are you going to appease to the gatekeepers?
We have 2 more registered people who would like to speak, and that is Frederick Newsom and Takara Bay. Frederick Newsom and Takara Bay.
May I speak? Yes, my name is Frederick Newsom. Thank you very much for being here and for having this forum. My affiliation is in COBRA for more than 20 years. NACP, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which you may know about. But we don't know our rights. As a part of our destruction and the attack on us is not to know our rights. Like Harriet Tubman said, I would have taken many more out of slavery if they had known they were slaves. The brutality, the child abuse, and I think the whole system as a state and federal government system of child abuse. And when I hear about today somebody going to jail for endangering the welfare of a child for sexual abuse, it gives me nausea, because that was the foundation of this so-called republic. But one injury, because reparations is based upon identification of injuries. One injury which we totally ignore, which we should not ignore, and it's by design. It's by design. Every child and young person and adult who was kidnapped and who was able to talk spoke a language. The eradication of the languages of people is a high crime against humanity. You just think about eradicating the French language. Just think about eradicating the German language. Who or what would they be? We have been conditioned to devalue completely the equivalent, the tantamount of the murder of our mother and father. Now, that injury, which is passed from generation to generation, should not be overlooked. How the remedy for that? It's a lot of money. It didn't happen overnight. It won't be rectified overnight. We can be the deciders, but we should not forget that grave injury. The whippings, the hangings, the burnings, the unpaid labor are important. But the eradication of the languages of people, which everybody who was old enough to talk spoke, is a high crime against humanity.
Thank you, Mr. Newsom.
Good evening, Commission. I am Takara L. Bay, and I am the founder of Reparations for Indigenous People, which is a faith-based community organization that was started in 2014, and Brooklyn, New York. I want to give honor to my ancestors, and I want to thank you for this opportunity. I am of the Yazoo lineage, which is a tribe that was known as now Mississippi, and my grandmother was a prisoner of war, aka a slave. When it comes to solutions, I feel that we should tax the commercial properties, and that these high-risers that are going up have the opportunity to restore us as a people by paying us taxes from their profits that they make. The fact that we are all coming together and talking about solutions is showing me that we have hope. So even though we have challenges in front of us, I want to encourage people to look at the solutions and to focus on the solutions, and don't get so caught up in your emotions over the harm that has been done, because we are still standing. We are still here. That means that we have the opportunity to make things better together, and we have to work together. We gotta put our personal stuff to the side. We have to take accountability for our own emotions. We cannot be blaming everybody for everything. So I'm glad that we're together. I'm glad that Kay signed this law into legislation for the state of New York. I want to see it all over the country, and I'm looking forward to the progress of our nation and of our people. Thank you.
Well said, Finally, we have Bridget Bonaparte, Karen Blanchett, and Rashad Izu.
So I have not prepared anything to say.
Okay,
And
can you
again,
repeat your name,
it's quite a
Yes,
thing.
my name is
Quite a
Bridget
thing.
Bonaparte,
But I'm
and I really didn't have anything prepared, but I definitely want to say that I've heard a lot of good things tonight. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the council for putting this commission, putting this meeting together. I think it's really important. I also feel like it's important to...
So this is the Facebook page. That is me in the pink dress. That's Queen Afua. That's some other wonderful leaders. And this is how you find the page. It is www.facebook.com/realsolutions. So I purposely spelled solutions that way because it's going to take our souls to come to the solutions that we must put into play together. So it's happening. I'm grateful that it's happening. I look to talk about the progress as things continuously progress. So be it, Ashe, and that's all that it is. You know, it's already out there in the ethers. So lots of love, lots of healing to us all, and lots of growth and lots of progress. This is the Facebook page. This is what we have right now active. If you want to keep up with what's going on, as information, this information just came to me March 22nd. I didn't even know that the commission was in existence. So the fact that they're in existence, I'm just like, oh. And the fact that there are so many different conversations on reparations, like, okay, you get it. Like, it's time to repair stuff. It's time to put stuff back together. Because we want our children to have better lives, right? But we want our children and our children's children and children's children and children's children to have better lives and better opportunities. It's going to take us all working together. And it starts within yourself. It starts within your soul. It starts within yourself. You got to know who you are. You got to be true to who you are. And you can't let anybody else identify you or tell you who the heck you is. That's all I got to say. Thank you for tuning in to the Super T Podcast Show. Peace and love and lots of blessings. And I'll be back.